Fine. In our today's lecture number 3, we will continue the second part of the chapter Pakistan Zindabad, written by Sir John Walton in our first year English. Dear student, you know that the political organization of Indian Muslim League was founded in the year 1906, and the Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah joined the Muslim League in 1913. In the first para of the Part-2 is about the resolution of Pakistan. On 23rd March 1914, a meeting of Muslim League was held in Lahore under the leadership of Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. At the Lahore session, a resolution was passed at the annual meeting. The division of the subcontinent into two nations was passed, and the all members of the Muslim League unanimously decided that the Muslims would never accept such a proposal which failed to give the Muslims autonomy, an independent state in those parts of India where the number of Muslims was more than the number of Hindus. In those areas of India where Muslims were in majority and Hindu were in minority, such as East Bengal and Northwest, where the number of Muslims was high. The Hindu newspaper called this resolution as Pakistan Resolution. The name Pakistan, the word Pakistan, was first used by Chaudhry Rahman Ali in the year 1933. A young Pakistani brilliant Muslim student of Cambridge University, England, throughout his life he struggled for the idea of Pakistan. Who struggled all his life to put the ideology of Pakistan into practice. He took active part in the movement of creation of Pakistan. He explained it. Pakistan is a word taken from the regional languages Urdu and Persian. It was composed of 8 alphabets, letters from the homeland of the Muslim, that is Punjab, Afghania, Northwest Frontier Province, Kashmir, Iran, Sindh, Tukharistan, Afghanistan and Balochistan. Yes, students, Tan means land. So the land of Pakistan means the land of Paks, the spiritually pure and clean, the land of pious people. Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah addressed the Muslim League at the annual session nothing in the world could stand in the way of formation of Pakistan. This success was brought about by the united front that the Muslims put for the realization of their end. The Indian National Congress, which was the major political party of Hindus for the most of the period during the Second World War, in which the United States of America, the United Kingdom, and Russia defeated Germany, Italy, and Japan, most of the leaders of the Indian Congress, due to civil disobedience, were put behind the bar. This was because the violation of civil laws. In order to protest against the decision of the British rules of India to enter and support into a state of war. Dear students, civil disobedience means when people refuse to obey the law in order to protest in a very peaceful way against the government. So the Quit India movement was a civil disobedience started in India on 8 August 1942. The Second World War began in 1939 and British declared war against Germany. The British government appealed to all political parties for help and assistance in this hour of need, in this crucial time. Congress tried to take advantage of this time and put forward their demands in the form of conditions. When the government of British could not fulfill their demands, they refused to cooperate with the government in war activities and started mass civil disobedience and were arrested and spent most of the duration of the Second World War in prisons. During the Second World War, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, on the contrary, revealed the opportunity and gathered all the Muslims all over the India. He did not address large gathering of people, rather he spent all his time in writing letters to Muslim League workers living in different parts of India. So during the Second World War, he gathered all the Muslim League workers together. There were many newspapers at that time, but all were owned either by the Hindus or by the British. There were no newspaper of Muslims to give true and impartial information of the events, so Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah started the Dawn newspaper in English. The people of Pakistan welcomed the paper of their own as the true representative of their desires and problems. The negotiation meeting between Gandhi and Jinnah continued for 3 weeks. It was a last attempt to reach an agreement, a peaceful solution, final settlement. But the meeting continued 3 weeks and they did not bring any positive result. There could not be agreement between two men so different. The both leaders were different. Qaid-e-Azam and Gandhi, both of the leaders were entirely different, contrast to each other. Qaid-e-Azam demanded for a separate homeland. Qaid-e-Azam demanded, he wanted to have a separate homeland for Muslims by dividing India into 2 nations, whereas Gandhi called it ruin, destruction for all Indian people. The both leaders were different from each other on the basis of religion and political thinking. the